When it comes to trigonometric function, the key, I am always saying that the key to solve majority of that question, to find it actually pretty easy and manageable, is to understand the function and be able to do the graph from the given function. I know that in this particular question we are having a small graph there, but first I'm going to just focus on function itself and how can I create graph of it, because it is really a great skill. So in this part of the question we have that this clothing company sells as well scarves, and this is about the daily sale of scarves can be modeled using the following function Sn, and again over the period of 1 year. Okay, now when you have a number, it could be in the beginning or at the end, doesn't matter, that number, that is your midline, meaning the graph of the function is going to be going around this value. Then the number that stands beside cosine, doesn't matter whether it is cosine, that number is the amplitude. So what does that mean is how far up and down we go from the midline. Okay, so let's do quick graph here. So first we are looking at the y-axis. So 21, that's the midline, and the amplitude 19, so that means it goes up by 19. So plus 19, 21 plus 19, that will be 40. Oops, don't know what happened here. And then it goes down by 19. So again, 21 minus 19, that will be 2. So our function, this function, will be going between those two values, 2 and 40. That's it. Okay. So now once we have those three numbers here, then the next thing we need exactly equal length for 4 points on the x-axis. And how do we find what value it is? So here 4 points, because that is the period of the function. And that period is calculated by 2 pi divided by c. Now, what is c? That is the number that stands beside x value. So what does stand here beside the x value? That's our x value. So it is 2 pi divided by 365. So if I take 2 pi and I divide that by 2 pi and 365, if you put that in the calculator, you will get that it is 365, because that's the period here. Now, that all of those 4 points, but they are equally length. So if I take 365 and divide into 4 equal parts, I get how much is one part. So in this case, 91.25. So 91.25. Then in the middle, I have 182.5. Then 27375. And 365. So I have my 4 points. Now, because this is a cost function starts on the top. So my first point is on the top. Then here at 91.25, we go middle. Then the next point, 182.5, that goes low. So at 2. Then again, we go middle at 273. And again, we end up at 365, finishing at the very top. So it goes top, middle, then bottom, then middle again, and top again. So that's the cost function. If that number here would have been negative, that means we would flip that function around. So meaning it will look that way. And sometimes that's what happens, especially in question with Ferri wheel. Now, let's just get, because we do have a small graph there, and let's answer that part of the question. So this is the graph that is given to us in the question. So like we said, the top one here is 40, the bottom one here is 2, the middle will be 21, and that is 360. That's the first, that's the second. Equal parts, they all equal lengths. So what do we need to do? We have to work out the maximum and minimum daily sales of the scarves. So my maximum is 40 and my minimum will be 2, isn't it? So that's the reason why I'm saying knowing how to understand how to create the graph from trigonometric function, what I mean by trigonometric function, cos function or sine function, it does help us to answer the question much easier.